team that will be engaged in various communities.
And the truth behind the headlines, whether it's the decisions shaping our nation or the stories unfolding right in your backyard, our team is on the front lines, so you don't miss a beat. Join us every weekday beginning from 7 a.m. to 7:45 for 45 minutes of news point and 7 p.m. to 6.
Nana na bro men, they're not supporting children with a mother, with a husband, with a everything in the home. There's some of us will not educate that are the best back in so when they tap around or tap by that will boo. Some of us will not will blind your will cripple you. Baba segment will whistle on you because we fell out with that nonsense in their country.
Health updates.
In more recent, we are trying to negotiate with other professional colleagues of ours to carry on some experience in this healthy. We are predicated on this. We are involved in setting a vibrant team that will be engaged in various communities.
And the truth behind the headlines, whether it's the decisions shaping our nation or the stories unfolding right in our backyard.
From the News and Current Affairs Department, the Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Today is Wednesday, November 26, 2025. My name is Oliver McIntosh, presenting on today's presentation of News Point. Stories we furthering on today's presentation of the program. Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission issues amended distribution lesson to the Liberia Electricity Corporation, granting the state-run utility expanded authority to operate in additional pipes. Director General of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Fejara Biako, discloses the arrest 178 suspected drugs traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Moserado County District 7 Representative Manuel Dan expresses frustration after a major health related bill submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. And away from home, Nigeria's government makes no meaningful effort to rescue more than 250 children adopted from a Catholic boarding school in the central state of Nigeria last Friday. The main Catholic clerics in the region has told the BBC. These the news bulletins post or package on today's presentation of the program. Professor Stephen Talu is seated with the news bulletin. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning, Oliver. The Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission has issued an amended distribution the of license to the state-run utility expanded authority to operate in additional parts of Grand Bassel, Riverside, and Bond counties. The decision announced early Tuesday marks a significant milestone in the government's push to broaden access to reliable and affordable electricity nationwide. It forms of part of national efforts to strengthen the energy sector and accelerate progress toward Liberia's electrification targets. Speaking during the license ceremony at the LERC headquarters in Monrovia, LERC Commissioner Anthony Edward said the revised the distribution license and corporation's official service zone. Commissioner Edward urged LEC to ensure that electricity distribution effectively reaches the newly added communities, emphasizing the need for improved responsiveness to customer concern. He referenced areas such as Roberts Sport, where residents have repeatedly called for more reliable service. Meanwhile, LEC project coordinator Vamu Reeves welcomed the amended License reaffirmed corporation's commitment to accelerating the expansion of electricity services throughout Liberia. The acting director general of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Fitzgerald Biago, has disclosed that the agency arrested 180 suspected drug traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Speaking Tuesday during the Ministry of Information's regular press briefing, Biago explained that all those arrested were investigated and subsequently filed to court. He noted that the suspects are currently in pre-trial detention, awaiting the further legal action. The LDA acting boss further revealed that 6 vehicles were impounded during the operations that led to the confiscation of various illegal substances. According to the impounded vehicles are now in the custody of LDA investigation centers across the country. Meanwhile, Biago revealed that Case Bridge, once considered one of Liberia's most notorious drug zones, has now been fully transformed into an LDEA service center with no drug activity currently taking place at this site. He stressed that the agencies of what goes far beyond arresting traffickers and dealers. He outlined a growing focus on drug prevention and awareness programs are supported through strong community partnerships. Mosurado County District Number 7 Representative Emmanuel Dan has expressed a strong frustration and disappointment after a major health-related bill he submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. The legislation titled an act to repeal Section 26.9 as revised 2022 to provide for patients' rights and prohibit discrimination sought to expand legal protection for patients nationwide. The bill aimed to prevent any form of discrimination or denial of treatment based on the patient's condition or background or status, while promoting fairness and accountability within the country's health sector. Representative Dan noted that the bill was intended to address increasing reports of patient neglect, unequal treatment, and alleged discrimination in various health facilities. According to the Monserrato lawmaker, the committee asked with reviewing the legislation dismissed it without what he described as the proper scrutiny it deserved. Dan says the rejection marks a significant setback to ongoing efforts to modernize Liberia's healthcare system and strengthen protection for vulnerable patients. Mosurado County District Number 2 Representative Smo Morba has announced the plans for a major rural rehabilitation initiative targeting the Bilikal, Waintown, Bala, and Nizu communities within the district. Speaking on a local radio station in Painesville on Tuesday, November 25, Representative Morba disclosed that the project is being carried out by the Ministry of Public Works in collaboration with residents of a district number 3. He explained that the rehabilitation effort aims at to ease transportation challenges faced by marketers and commuters who struggle daily due to poor road conditions. The lawmaker also revealed that his office has put a street light and will soon be installed in several communities. According to him, the street lights will not only improve visibility but also enhance security for residents across the district. Meanwhile, Representative Moloba is calling on the government to rehabilitate the roads connecting Red Light Market to William Boots High School. He lamented at the poor state of the road and noted that his office is prepared to intervene by initiating asphalt pavement works to create a safer and more convenient environment for business owners and students who use the route daily. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has launched its 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence across 8 counties. A campaign aimed at strengthening protections for women and addressing harmful practices. nationwide. Speaking at the Gender Based Violence Conference held Tuesday, November 25 at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congertown, Deputy Minister for Gender Laura Gulake emphasized that the initiative focuses on women's economic empowerment and ensures that vulnerable women are included in all aspects of national development. Madam Galake stressed that the fight against the gender-based violence is not limited to the ministry alone, but requires the active involvement of schools, churches, intellectual centers, and civil society organizations. She also revealed that the ministry, together with its partners, plans to host the first national GBV conference in Liberia aimed at addressing all forms of violence, including the growing challenge of digital or online based abuse. Former agriculture, that's former culture ambassador Judy Andy also spoke at the program, reaffirming her commitment to join Liberian women in combating sexual gender-based violence. Meanwhile, Mandela Kopo, a political advisor to President Joseph Walker, called on men across Liberia to support women in the fight against SGBV, emphasizing that the initiative is everyone's responsibility, not just a woman's issue. Clifford Spain, an employee in the office of the vice president, has dismissed leading admission to his repetition. It can be recalled that on November 24, 2025, Penn was suspended after the video circulated on social media, sparking mixed reactions among politicians and citizens, many of whom link his alleged actions to his position at the Group of 72nd and labeled them unlawful. Speaking Tuesday at the Chamber of Justice in Monrovia, Payne clarified that the LDA charged him with obstruction of justice, not bribery as widely reported. According to Payne, his family member Joel Sayo was taken to court for alleged involvement in illicit drug trafficking, maintaining that he intervened solely in his capacity as a family member and not as an official connected to the office of the vice president. He further explained that his involvement was triggered by unverified reports suggesting that the LDA officer had allegedly accepted bribes from his relatives to secure science release, a situation he said he found deeply concerning and contrary to the national fight against illicit drug. The chairperson of the Rural Development Funds Incorporated, Ambalaba, has announced significant progress and new developments with the Liberia's rubber sector since the National Rubber Conference held from November 8 to 9, 2025. Addressing a press conference on November 25, 2025 in Monrovia, Morba revealed that during the 2024 conference, President Joseph Walker mandated the establishment of an 8-member committee chaired by the Minister of Agriculture with representation from the Ministry of Finance and other relevant agency. According to him, the committee was tasked with calculating and publishing monthly rubber prices. The process itself was addressed swiftly and has already yielded tangible results. Moreover, highlighted that RDFI and the Rubber Planters Association of Liberia have been working collaboratively to ensure that available resources directly benefit rubber farmers across the country. It disclosed that 22,000 improved rubber planting materials were distributed across 7 counties and 35 nurseries have been established nationwide. Meanwhile, the executive director of RDFI and head of the Secretary of the Rubber Development Fund, Williams Johnson, outlines several critical challenges the institution continue to face. He pointed to severe understaffing, emphasizing the need for more personnel to conduct fieldwork with processors across the country. Former Margibi County Senator Kennedy Vidal Patrick once President Joseph Boakai to reinstate government officials who were suspended over corruption allegations, but have since been cleared following investigations conducted by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and the General Auditing Commission. Speaking in an interview, Monrovia Patrice acknowledged the government's strides in combating corruption, but stressed that officials who have been exonerated deserve to return to their post. He argued that reinstating them will demonstrate the fairness and balance the ongoing anti-corruption drive and help restore public confidence in the governance process. According to him, while innocent officials should be reinstated, those whose names appeared in other reports for alleged financial improprieties and continue to serve without suspension or dismissal must face prosecution. Meanwhile, Padre is urging the government to reject the involvement of a zone lion in Liberia's waste collection system, describing the company's shortlisting for waste management as a major political accident. He alleged that the entity is corrupt, criminally inclined, and has previously siphoned hundreds of thousands of US dollars from the Liberian people. Two major economic and governance reform bills have been submitted to the national legislature by Nema County District Number 9 Representative Tawongbe, designed to transform how Liberia manages its natural resources and strengthen local community development. The first proposal, titled the Liberia Future Generations Extractive Savings Fund Act of 2025, seeks to establish a national savings and investment fund dedicated to preserving a share of Liberia's revenues from mining, petroleum, and forestry for both our present and future generations. The bill mandates that 10% of all extractive revenues, including royalties, taxes, transportation, and haulage fees, and bonuses, be set aside automatically. The Act further introduces strong governance and accountability mechanisms, including the creation of an independent seven-member board with representatives from government and civil society, compulsory asset declarations, a strict conflict of interest guidelines, annual audits by both the General Auditing Commission and an international auditing frame and frame limits on withdrawals and government borrowing. Representative Wangbe has also introduced the National Community and SME Stimulus Bill of 2026, aimed at injecting 10 million US dollars directly into communities across 73 districts. The bill focuses on supporting micro, small, and medium enterprises, women's groups, and farmer cooperatives with the objectives of boosting local economic activity, creating employment, and enhancing food security. And away from whom Nigeria's government is making no meaningful effort to rescue more than 250 children adopted from a Catholic boarding school in the central state of Niger. Last Friday, the main Catholic cleric in the region has told the BBC, but Bishop Bulus Dua Yohana's accusation was disputed by the state's police chief, who accused the school of failing to cooperate with its search and rescue operations. It is unclear whether who adopted the children from St. Mary's School in Papari village, but criminal gangs have been involved in kidnappings for ransom across Nigeria. US President Donald Trump has threatened to intervene militarily in Nigeria if the government fails to stop the killing of Christians. Blaze News.
Many, many thanks to Stephen Taludet for the news bulletin. It's regular featured on News Point. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our world. Stories will follow you on today's presentation of the program Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission issues amended distribution lesson to the Liberia Electricity Corporation, granting the state-run utility expanded authority to operate in additional parts of Grand Bassa, Rivers, and Bon counties. Acting Director General of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Fejara Biako, discloses the arrest of 178 suspected drug traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Masurado County District 7 Representative Manuel Dana expresses frustration after a major health related bill submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. Nigeria's government makes no meaningful effort to rescue more than 250 children adopted from a Catholic boarding school in the central state of Nigeria last Friday, the main Catholic clerics in the region has told the BBC. Still ahead, the voices of our newsmakers post or package onto this presentation of the program go strictly into our development. The Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission has issued an amended distribution lesson to the Liberia Electricity Corporation, granting the state-run utility Spanish authority to operate in additional parts of Grand Bassa, Rivers, and Bon counties. The decision, announced early Tuesday, marks a significant milestone in the government's push to broaden access to reliable and affordable electricity nationwide. Speaking during the lesson ceremony at the LERC headquarters in Monrovia, LERC Commissioner Anthony Edwards said the revised distribution lesson empowers LEC to extend services to communities that's previously outside the corporation's official service zone.
Thank you to our ADC friends and colleagues. We are indeed excited that today's program is necessitated function in your operational footprint. We've now assembled to make adjustment in your license as a result of contraction, or rather because of expansion in your activities. We are happy about that, but we hope will be marked by development, will be sustainable, and will be reflected in the efficiency of your operations. And one of the last public hearings we held in Abbotsport, Tottenberg, overriding concern of the customers were your lack of response to their concern. In Abbotsport, particularly, we're informed that it takes up to 2-3 weeks for the one technician you have running between Bomi and Cape Mount to respond to customers' concern. In the midst of this challenge, you are expanding. So it yields some reasonable reservations for me, for us on the board. And we want to challenge you to please look in the direction of addressing customers' concern. And I'm sure you are aware that your license comes with obligations, with terms and conditions. And we don't want to reach the point where we'll be talking about, looking at the terms and conditions to see what you are hearing. We trust that you will do your best. Overall, we are excited that you are expanding and your operations, like you said, are just consistent with the government's agenda to make electricity affordable and accessible to our people. So thank you all so much, and we look forward to more of these engagements, especially so that we're in your tariff period.
Meanwhile, ADC Project Coordinator Famo Reeves welcomed the amended lesson and reaffirmed the corporation's commitment to accelerating the expansion of electricity services throughout Liberia.
We know that our teams actually work seamlessly to get this done. Thanks to Henry and George and Aramita and your team, again, as I said, as a result of that. On behalf of the management team, headed by Honorable Mohammed Sherry, couldn't be here today, but he extends his regards to you all. And in April of this year, we actually launched our 5-year strategic plan, and it's based on 5 pillars. And the third pillar is basically customer centricity. Now, with this extension, basically allows us to do that. Okay? We also are very knowledgeable and understand that in every constraint analysis that was done, electricity was actually one of those that are highlighted. Okay? And so we are committed to this. We're committed to do our job. And this is also in alignment with the AID and the M300. So with this license, we will do what we're responsible for, and that's to provide reliable and affordable power to Liberia. At the same time, making sure we are sustainable, as we just mentioned. So on behalf of the LEC management team, and again, the managing director, I want to thank you all for this and promise, and we will do it as is intended. And we will stay within our network range.
That's the voice of the EDC project coordinator, Famun Reeves, that welcoming the amended lesson and reaffirming the corporation's commitment to accelerating expansion of electricity services to our Liberia. Early on, you listened to LERC Commissioner Antonin Edward spoke at the event. The acting director general of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Fedjara Biako, has disclosed that the agency arrested 178 suspected drug traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Speaking Tuesday during the Ministry of Information regular press briefing, Biako explained that all those arrested were investigated and subsequently forwarded to court. The LDA acting boss further revealed that 6 vehicles were impounded during the operations that led to the confiscation of various illegal substances.
As you may be aware, a few days back, the President, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, commissioned 15 new paper trucks to the LDA to boost the operational effectiveness and efficiency of the LDA. Through that, we deploy these vehicles within the most affected communities in Liberia and the most hotspot vulnerable locations. And between September and October of this year, the LDA arrested 178 drug traffickers and dealers and investigated all of them to court. As of today, we can clearly tell the Liberian people 178 drug traffickers and dealers are in pre-trial detention and waiting to be sentenced. Through that effort, we also impounded 6 vehicles that were caught during the arrest and prosecution of drugs. And those vehicles today, they are still impounded at our investigation locations across the country. We also have 2 buildings, also see 2 buildings, one in Grove, where the huge quantity of marijuana was confiscated from, and one is in Duazo, Magibi County, where we also arrested a huge number of marijuana, from fresh marijuana. And these vehicles are still in the custody of LDA, reviewing crime scene until these cases are fully adjudicated. 2 weeks ago, you witnessed the burning exercise of $40 million worth of illicit substances at our Disco Hill burning site. That alone is a significant milestone for the LDA, for the Liberia. We can report today that the issue of drugs within Liberia is being minimized. You are the witness. The way the issue of drugs is happening in communities across Liberia is now happening that we are asking Liberians across and listening to us. They turned into a DA service center that they know trust activity occurring now at the King Grade site. This is what we want to do. Affected community, affected site. We want to turn that site in sometimes to recreation center for the community. A site for fee, do some town hall. So we're not just moving and arresting traffickers and dealers, we also venturing into prevention programs. We are partnering with civil society organizations. I think you released on social media and last time we went to CEO. We are partnering with CEO to have a very successful meeting with FLA, and they are willing and ready to partnership with the LDA to do awareness in schools, in communities, to target youth populations. So we're not just on the front line fighting, we also do socializing the issue of prevention and awareness. For the last 2 months, we have stabilized the LDA. The internal well-being within the LDA now will become a history. We build an institution that when we leave the LDA will be a stable institution. A law enforcement institution. Last week Thursday, we held a 1-day policy review and validation workshop and reviewed several policies for the Minister of Justice approval. So these are things that we do at LDA. So these are few updates we want to give to our Liberian people. At the end of the month, there are significant progress being made in the month of November. This update reflects September and October. November will come back to the Liberian people to give you significant information. The last one reported that there are 2 communities in Mosharado still hotspots. Joshua Allen, and Kinvey. I will speak today. There have been significant reductions into illicit drugs activities in the community. As the end of the month, we'll come back and give you statistics on the reduction effort made in the community. We are also established 14 peer educators clubs in 14 high schools in Mosrado. And our effort is to extend it throughout Liberia. Happy that they don't have fly with the same ideology. We want to put resources together and partner with them to extend peer.
That's the voice of the acting director general of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Fejara Biako, there disclosing that the agency has arrested 178 suspected drug traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Monserrado County District 7 Representative Manuel Dunn has expressed strong frustration and disappointment after a major health related bill he submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. The legislation titled An Act to repeals Section 26.11 and 50.9 of the Public Health Law of Liberia has revised 2022 to provide for patients' rights and prohibit discrimination, such to expand legal protections for patients nationwide. Representative Manuel Dan noted that the bill was intended to address increasing reports of patient neglect, unequal treatment, and alleged discrimination in various health facilities.
It hurts me every time I go to the hospital. I see people lying down. They are not being given attention because they don't have money. No, I don't believe anyone should die because the family don't have money. No, we did it to repeal the health law of Liberia, instructing all health facilities to begin giving attention to people when they come with emergency cases. They can be treated, they can be looked after, and later on you talk about money. We included how institutions can be protected also. We talk about the medical form that the all around there. You got an opinion. Give a report. If our hospital offers here fee, there's no health care for the poor. Many of these people are dying. Sometimes they die on the floor because they could not be given the attention. Uh, Women give birth when they are in pain because the families could not afford the money at the time. Children die, families do not have access to the bodies of the children because there's no money to pay the bill at the time. So I was calling on for us to repeal the health law of Liberia, that this time around we'll be able to give attention to these people who are on the.
That's the voice of Monserrado County District 7 Representative Manuel Dunn expressing strong frustration and disappointment after a major health related bill he submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has launched a 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence across 8 counties, a campaign aimed at strengthening protection for women and addressing harmful practices nationwide. Speaking at the Gender Based Violence Conference held Tuesday, November 25 at the Ellen Johnson Staley Ministerial Complex in Concord Town, Deputy Minister for Gender Laura Kulake emphasized that the initiative focuses on women's economic empowerment and ensures that vulnerable women are included in all aspects of nation development. Madam Golake stressed that the fight against gender-based violence is not limited to the ministry alone, but requires the active involvement of churches, schools, intellectual centers, and civil society organizations.
This enhanced phase of the initiative expands its reach to 3 additional counties: Grand Bassa, Maryland, and Bond counties, bringing the total to 8 counties nationwide. It will focus on strengthening protection against gender-based violence and harmful practices, economically empowering women, and ensuring that the most vulnerable women are fully included in every sphere of national development. Special applause go to, again, all of our partners who have put this in their own agenda to join in with us as we go along. As we amplify the call for collective action and acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our partners, both local and international, I must re-emphasize that the time for robust action is now. The campaign must penetrate every corner of Liberia, reaching churches, mosques, schools, intellectual centers, football fields, and rural communities with the same intensity and dedication we apply during political campaigns. In the next 2 days, the Ministry of Gender, in collaboration with partners alongside civil society organizations, will host the National GBV Conference, first of its kind.
Former Cultural Ambassador Julie Andy also spoke at the program, reaffirming the commitment to join Liberian women in combating sexual and gender-based violence.
I stand here today with my colleagues with a deep respect for your courage and commitment as women leaders and right campaigners across all levels of our society. As we unite under the national theme, 16 days of activism unite to end violence, protecting women and children in our communities and the digital space, we acknowledge the painful reality of gender-based violence in Liberia. Women, children, and persons with disabilities continue to face unacceptable levels of abuse. On this International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, I join the women of Liberia and others around the world to reaffirm our collective responsibility to act. This year, 16 days of activism theme calls for action to stop digital violence or digital facilitated gender-based violence as we experienced yesterday. We are now in a digital world, yet women and children in digital spaces are not protected legally. What can we do for government and our people to take action? I know you have a lot going through your mind today, and the UN Resolution 1325 says we should be protected at all levels. We should be.
Meanwhile, Mandela Cooper, political advisor to President Joseph Boakai, called on men across Liberia to support women in the fight against SGBV, emphasizing that the initiative is everyone's business.
Violence in our beloved Liberia, gender-based violence, is not a headline. It is a house guest. It lives with us. It lives in our communities. It lives in our schools. It whispers in the churches across our nation. It lingers in our marketplace. And yes, it often hides in our own homes and houses. For these are not isolated stories. They are a national cry, and a cry that must no longer fall on deaf ears. And thirdly, there cannot be political development in this country without the protection of women and girls. There cannot be real economic growth without safe spaces for our girls. There cannot be digital transformation of this nation if digital spaces become tools for trauma and abuse and bullying. To the men in this room, to all of our brothers, our fathers, our uncles, our leaders, this is not just a woman's issue. This is a human issue. Your silence does not make you innocent. Your neutrality does not make you noble. Your voice is needed to echo our voices and to stop those whose actions break us apart.
That's the voice of the political advisor to the president, Joseph Boakai Mandela Kopo. They're speaking early on. The you listen to Madan Golake and followed by Julie Andy. They all spoke at the launch of the 16 days of activism against sexual and gender-based violence across 8 counties of Liberia. At this time, Stephen Talo is passionately seated with the passion of last post. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning and welcome. Significant progress has been made on the renovation of the Tuma, that's Tuma Sef Senior TSFS Stadium in Sanikol in Nima County. The sub-base layer is fully completed and stabilized, and the the perimeter fencing has been securely installed. The final phase of the project, the installation of the new playing turf, will commence in due course. And the project is part of the Liberia Football Association's broader commitment to enhancing football infrastructure across the country and expanding access to quality playing facilities, and funded by the LFA in partnership with the Jungle Water Group of Companies under a public-private partnership. On the African continent, several African prejudices made a lasting impression during this 70. That's the honor 70 World Cup. Africa's overall performance at the Honor 70 World Cup was rather average, with none of the continent's representatives managing to reach the tournament's final four. And lastly, interestingly, from the last night match, it was billed as the battle of the two teenage wonder kids, and for once, it was Lami Yama who found himself overshadowed, cast out from the spotlight. This was a Gustavo Williams night with Chelsea's already 1-0 up, and Barcelona down to 10 men. The 18-year-old produced a truly memorable moment to fire up an already recast Stamford Bridge. So congratulations for Chelsea's 3-0 win over Barcelona at the bridge. And that's sports.
Indeed, many thanks to Stephen Taluded for the passion of last post. It's a regular featured on this point to take a more development. Monserrato County District 3 Representative Sumo Moba has announced plans for a major road rehabilitation initiative targeting the Biliko, Wentown, Bala, and Nizo communities within the district. Speaking on a local radio station in Painesville on Tuesday, November 25, Representative Moba disclosed that the project is being carried out by the Ministry of Public Works in collaboration with residents of the district. He explained that the rehabilitation effort aims to ease transportation challenges faced by marketers and commuters who struggle daily due to poor road conditions.
Here, he's just focusing on the roundabout. By 2 weeks from now, we'll be in the various community doing the road project, right? We try to rehabilitate the our road. Yeah, every year I'll make sure to test the road. That's part about this. Everywhere we'll be working, we are there to augment the process. Our people will be working. I guess hopefully about 2 weeks from now, we're getting the Chinese. I already described the video with them. They're going in every community. We're going to start with the Biliko road. We're going to recondition the road. We're going to go to Wentown. We're going to go to Bala community. We're going to go to Nizo to recondition our Villa road. It may not be quota, but I think we need to recondition it every year so that our people can have easy access. Although it's cost intensive, but nothing is more cost intensive to help the people. So helping the people, I think is something that I believe in, and I'm going to do that. And another thing about it, we have procured the street light because government is going to go on the main road. We'll be projecting the light on the main road, but we're going to go in the community with our light. So I would like to say to the district that we are there, we're placed there for them, and we'll do everything in our will to see how far we can do with our district. Let me tell you something about Priority Adventure. We make a lot of promises during the election, and we are on course goals as it relates to our zero promise. We talk about the TVEC college. That's one of the main thing, right? And we did the
Meanwhile, Representative Moba is calling on the government to rehabilitate the road connecting Raleigh Market to the William Booth High School. He lamented the poor state of the road and noted that his office is prepared to intervene by initiating asphalt pavement works to create a safer and more convenient environment for business owners and students who use the route daily.
we'll be doing the typecasting. So those are two from our people. We have gone at least about 50%. We did a market at Boca Time. We'll be doing another market in Lizo around the bridge. Lizo Bridge where we have our mothers. Right, we're going to do another project there. We are listing with another NGO to do the borehole. Hopefully, I'm sure before next year, April, we'll have borehole, at least four borehole, right, reservoir where our people can draw water from. So there are things that we're doing. But what I'm doing now is something that touched my heart. I'm one person that believe in development. Besides my own life, developing my own life, my family life, I have to expand it outside. So in doing that, I think we need to cross beyond, not just what we promise our people. We need to take care of those roads that are very bad. Even the road in red light, we start dealing now with public work. We send a letter to the Minister of Public Works to make sure that the minister needs to go on the road. The people are those that elected you. So leaving them in the mud to sell, I think is not necessary at all. I don't want people to create that notion that the people damage the road. No, because the people pay taxes. Those in red light pay taxes to the PCC. PCC should have been the one to manage the debt, but they did not until the roads fall. So I'm urging the government, Public Works, to get to red light now. Red light is the central hub for businesses. You have people from all the districts, the 73 district in red light. So if you refuse to allow the place to be decent for them and they continue to sell in the mud, you will lose votes. So what I'm urging them, and I'm also going, I gave the time frame. I gave them up to January. They can't touch red light. I will be in red light by the 5th of January to do the red light road. It's in my district from red light to William Booth. It's a short distance. All government need to do is to just, if they are not going to put quota now, the alpha just need to put in rock so that the people can cross without it being in the mud. But if they refuse to do that, it's a warning to government. If they refuse to do that, I love this government. This is what I'm saying. They need to go there now to do it. If they say they are not going to go there to do it, remember, by the 5th of January, I'm telling you, bet me on it. Let me tell you something about Priority Adventure.
That's the voice of Montserrat County District 3 Representative Smo Moba. They're announcing plans for a major road rehabilitation initiative targeting the Biliko, Wentan, Bala, and Nizo communities within District 3, Montserrat County. With that, we come to the end of today's edition of News Point. It has been a production of the News and Current Affairs Department, Yellow Blaze Communications Network Incorporated. Before we go, a recap of the major stories. Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission issues amended distribution lesson to the Liberia Electricity Corporation, granting the state-run utility expanded authority to operate in additional parts of Grand Bassa, Rivers, and Bond counties. Acting Director General of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, Fejaro Biako, discloses the arrest of 178 suspected drugs traffickers and dealers between September and October 2025. Montserrat County District 7 Representative Manuel Dana expresses frustration after a major health-related bill submitted was rejected by the House of Representatives. And away from home, Nigeria's government makes no meaningful effort to rescue more than 250 children adopted from a Catholic boarding school in the central state of Nigeria last Friday. The main capital clerics in the region has told the BBC. Thanks to all of you for your listening role. Many thanks to Stephen Talu, who was here with the news bulletin. Achi Seboyene was beyond the camera and bring in all of the happenings here. Thanks to all of you for your listening role. Many thanks to Eric Hinen, who coordinated the sound. From the other entire production team at Blaze Communications Network Incorporated, Oliver McIntosh presented. Good morning. Bye-bye.